Star copies all. Go ahead. Message to observer. Alpha 3 rounds. AT delay in effect. 3 guns. Bravo 2 rounds. 2 guns. Smoke on effect.
4.5 months. That's how long it's been. 4.5 months since this random Reddit post. Shout out to Big Red 468. It's been 4.5 months of trading with y'all. When I first started this, the biggest question I had was, would my system hold up to live trading in front of a large audience where there's nowhere to hide? There's no excuses. There's no fudging the numbers. It's just simply calling your entries, calling your exits, and letting things play out. I think the system's held up pretty dang well. Sure, my win rate's not at 91% anymore. It's like at 82%. But the returns have been extraordinary. I'll go over those today. I'll show you my Excel sheet, all the transactions that I made in the Discord, calling every entry, where you can go back and look, all the returns, and all the percentage gains. The first video I made was 91% video, which I'm sure you've seen floating around. So it's pretty much my flagship video. I made that the first few weeks I started. Didn't really know what I was doing in terms of making a video. Still probably don't, but it's gotten a little bit better. That video went over the technical side of my system, which is great. I've since removed a few things I don't necessarily use anymore. I've added a few things, but it's pretty much the same system from the technical side of things. What that video did miss, though, is the meat and potatoes, what I really do, which is volume analysis and market awareness. Those are the two pillars of my system, and that video failed to go over those. So I wanted to make this video to kind of adjust that, update that, and then I want to give an update of my actual returns. I'll go over my Excel sheet with every transaction I've made in the Discord, live trading, and show you what my percentage returns are, to show you that you do not need to YOLO and take extra large position sizes to get what you want. Anyway, let's get into it. What's the number one technical mistake traders make? Fighting the trend. Trying to buy puts on a very bullish day, trying to buy calls on a very bearish day just because they think they're going to get the bounce, but not realizing they just need to go with the flow. If you can identify the trend early, you're ahead of the game. And that's majority of what my system is. Market awareness to identify the trends. Knowing what the market's going to do pre-market will help you during the trading day greatly. And that's what my system does. It's 90% identifying market conditions, news events, pivot points, how the market flows, how the money comes in and out of the market, and 10% monitoring the technical indicators. So how do I accomplish this market awareness? Well, in order to be market aware, you have to be privy to the market conditions. You have to be privy to where the money's flowing and the overall market sentiment. So the first thing I do, I wake up in the morning, grab my coffee, I open up Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Bloomberg.com, Finance at Yahoo, Money, CNN. Sometimes Seeking Alpha, but for the most part, Seeking Alpha is a dumpster fire. It's the Facebook of investing. And then lastly, I'll go to Twitter. Twitter can be a fantastic resource for breaking news. It's social media, sure, but as long as you follow reputable investing sources, reputable being the key word there, you can actually get some pretty quick breaking news, stuff that's not necessarily posted that quickly on news events, news outlets. So it's a great source of net breaking news for overall sentiment. Occasionally I'll check the SPY ticker on Twitter to kind of figure out if there's anything in there that I have missed. And then after I gather all that up, I figure out the market sentiment, and then I go into volume analysis. I go to the 1-year chart on the SPY, and then I go into the volume analysis. I figure out where key levels are with the volume profile indicator, which is the nice gray histogram to the right here. I'll figure out what key levels of support are, key levels of resistance are. Then I'll go to the futures. I'll click over to ES, which is the futures. I'll figure out what the market's doing. I'll go to the NASDAQ, figure out what the market's doing in the wee hours of the morning. And then once I've rounded up all that, I'll go over to the Asian markets. I'll go to the European markets and figure out what the global markets are doing in the pre-market conditions. Figure out how the markets are reacting to certain news events. Is there more corona news? Is there less corona news? Is there a positive outlook on the vaccine? All those things I'll wrap up and figure out kind of what the daily sentiment is. Only then, only after I gather the market news, the market awareness, the global economic conditions, the futures, and the volume profile for support and resistance, only then will I start digging into the charts. So now that my pre-market's accomplished, now I go to the charts. I've already done volume analysis. So now I go to starting at the 1 year. I look at my technical indicators. The 34, the 21, the 8 EMA, which is the blue, yellow, purple line you see on the screen. And then I look at the 50 simple moving average, which is the red line. And that's the key one that I use for long-term levels, because that is usually a pretty strong support. As you can see, SPY goes through a cyclical nature. You see every few days, it cycles back down. It dumps out, it flushes out the buyers. Sellers have to come in to take this thing down, and it brings it back in. It brings in fresh meat, fresh buyers to bring this thing back up. It has to bring the price down to a discounted level on which it'll increase the buying activity and bring it back up. And that's just normal economics. Same thing happens with any kind of widget, high demand that's on the shelves in Walmart or HEB or whatever grocery store you use or supermarket. It has to bring the price back down for buyers to come back in and buy this thing back up. This normal economics, supply and demand. So you see every 30 days, every 30 to 45 days, it does this. So I'm looking for that. Are we close to that? Probably, yeah. I would say within the next week of this video, we'll start to have another downturn. As of August 13th, 2021, we'll start to see another downturn here in the next week. Just down to the 50. Unless that's obviously notwithstanding of news sources. So I'll look for things like that. I'll look at the squeeze momentum. We're firing to the upside. Very bullish right now on the 1 year. After the 1 year, I'll go to the 6 month, then the 3 month, then the 1 month weekly charts, and then to the daily. And then on the daily, I'll start at the 1 hour, 60-minute chart. And then I'll go to the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the 3-minute. And that's where I'll stop, the 3-minute chart. And I'll look at the currently daily conditions. I'll look at the prior highs and prior lows. I'll look at the prior supports and resistances, the weekly range where the previous week high and lows are. And then I'll go over a couple of proprietary indicators that I have, one of which is the session ranges given to us by Veteran Exotics, one of my trusted friends in the Discord. I won't go over the details about this because I have a video about it. I'll link in the description, which is the OM session ranges video, which is the yellow and blue dots you see on the screen there. But you can see all my indicators right here. All I've used is the 8, 21, 34 EMAs. I use the pivots high and low, which is white numbers you see. I use VWAP, which is the green line you see intertracing in there. Volume profile, which you don't see here, but it was on the 1 year chart right there. You see it there. I use the 50 MA for long-term transactions, and then the volume profile down here, or not the volume profile, the volume candles down here, and then the squeeze momentum indicator, which is down here. Just a simple, nice and basic technical indicator conglomerate that I use to identify certain pivots and levels on which I need to buy and which I need to sell. It works out pretty well. But just remember, that is the backup. The first indication and the first analysis I get is all volume based. I watch the volume very closely. I watch the market very closely. I monitor Qs, all the X sectors, the futures, VIX. I monitor all those things to determine what the market's going to do. And then I use all the technical indicators as confirmatory backups. And then I'll make my decision on whether or not I'm going to enter and when I'm going to exit. I'm not going to go too much into the details behind the technical indicators because I do have individual other videos explaining each individual indicator. This is just an overview on a summary of what I use for my system. And that's all there is to it. Market awareness, volume analysis, and only then do you do technical analysis. So how well has the system held up? 4.5 months of live trading. Live in the Discord, posting entries, posting exits. How well has it held up? So let's take a look. Here's the Excel sheet with all of the transactions from the Discord, all the entries, all the exits called live, for the most part. There's been about 5 to 10 trades in the 4.5 months where they weren't live called because the market conditions were just simply too volatile to live call things. Because although I've got a disclaimer and although I tell people not to follow my trades, some people still choose to do so. And I'm not going to be responsible for smoking somebody out on a volatile play. So if the play is just too volatile, I won't live call it. And there's been about 5 to 10 of those of the 171. But most of these live called in the Discord and posted. And they're all right here. I've got the expiration date. I've got the strike point. I've got the premium entry, the premium exit, calls, puts, position size, and then the return on that play. You can kind of see I take losses. For the most part, I win. And let's take a look. I've deleted all my notes out of here. And boom. These are the details. 81% overall win rate. 123.32 overall percent return. I win 78% of my calls and 83% of my puts. I've blocked out my balance data because I don't want to share my balance. But 123% return. I've more than doubled my money in 4.5 months. Now, some people may say that's not impressive. I've done 800% return. I've done 500% return. Yeah, but you're probably trading 0 DTEs and your position sizes are too big. And eventually the market monster is going to come get you. Now, me personally, the one thing I want to highlight here, and the most impressive thing that impresses myself about this, is the average position size. Let's take a look. I'm going to highlight all these position sizes. Average position size is 8.7% right there. So averaging 8.7% of your whole portfolio, you can have 123% return. And that's with taking big losses, 36% losses, 41% loss, 24% loss. There's another one in here too. Let's take a look. 60% loss, 41% loss. So you can even allow yourself some big losses. And as long as you keep your position size small enough and your win rate is high enough, you can accumulate spectacular returns. 123% overall return of my portfolio in 4.5 months. 171 trades, 81% win rate, 8.7% average position size. That is the highlight of this system. Slow and steady wins the race. And this is why I keep telling everybody, keep your position sizes small. As long as you develop a consistent, profitable system with a high win rate, you can have spectacular returns over the long term. So that's all I got for you. Nothing crazy, nothing flashy. A simple system that's based on market awareness, volume, and then technical indicators. It's not flashy, it's not sexy. I'm not promising 10% returns. I'm not promising glory in less than a year. I know this new internet investing age has got you with illusions of grandeur, illusions of making it rich like Jordan Belfort over in the first year of trading, or YOLOing your entire portfolio and doubling it time and time again. And you may get lucky. You may double your portfolio once, twice, maybe even 3 times. But I guarantee you, if you continue to YOLO, the market monster will come snatch it all away. I promise you. If you YOLO your entire portfolio, all it takes is one loss, one big loss to wipe out 50% of your entire portfolio. Weeks worth of hard gains. And God forbid you get on a losing streak of 1 or 2 or 3 in a row where you're YOLOing 100%. You will get completely wiped out. And unfortunately, that's exactly what a lot of new traders do. They get the high of a couple of big wins and then they get smoked out. And they do it time and time again. And here you are trading for 6 months and your balance is still the same, or God forbid it's even lower or nothing. Because you don't have growth. You need to know when to adjust those position sizes and take smaller position sizes. And I think my system is living proof that you do not need to YOLO to make consistent gains. 123% in 4.5 months with an 8.7% average position size. So that's all I got for you guys. If you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe to this video so you get notifications for all future educational content as well as my live streams. I do live streams, live trading on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When I'm not streaming here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am streaming on the Patreon exclusive chat that's based in Discord. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's exclusive content for them. If you'd like to join the Patreon and link up with us on those live trades, here is the link. Join up on Patreon. It's a small fee per month, but it gets you access to not only the live streams, but the exclusive Patreon chat channel, which is where I hang out during the trading hours, as well as Veteran Exotics pre-market analysis. So come join us. It's a community that fosters education. We agree with you on your losses. We support you on your wins and try to learn instead of knock each other down. Come hang out. It's an awesome place to be. That's all I got, guys. Until next time, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm out of here. See ya.